let's take a look at this person's eye here. Beautiful eyelashes. Whew. Now, this is a blue eye. Now, take a look at this dark ring around the outside. If you look at iridology, iridology is simply an electrical science. You know, from one level to a chemist, everything is chemistry. Just chemistry interacting between itself and upon itself. You know, all the ionizations and oxidations and all the theories of zeta potentials and all this whole chemical process of the way chemistry is metabolized and used and converted and transmutated and things like that. We don't even have a clue to that sort of thing. That's why to sit there and spout off chemistry, I almost have to get a little laugh because I'm not even sure what we know is even true. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much. But obviously, the more spiritual you become and develop, you realize everything is more electrical or more consciousness and electricity. And so this energy carries color, shapes. This is why you see colors in the eye, in chemicals. Chemicals and chemistry have colors and associated with them, frequencies and vibrations. And that your nervous system transmutes those frequencies of chemistry to the brain. The optic nerve is just tied to the brain. So the eye is really just a monitor of the brain. And the brain is a monitor of the cells through the nervous systems. And so that's why nervous systems are so important. They used to say if you cut the nervous system to tissue, you won't know what's really taking place with that tissue afterwards. So with that said, all the eye is like a large wagon wheel or like a sports car wire wheel where you've got a hub in the middle and you've got thousands of spokes that emanate out, referred to as rods and cones sometimes. But these fibers, I think the rods and cones are tied under them, but all these fibers here make up the iris. And that's why it's iridology. The sclera, of course, is the white portion of the eye. Now, look at this dark ring around this iris. That is a skin ring. And just as you go in just a little bit, you start to see all these little white things. These little white dots are lymph nodes. This person's had these lymph nodes swollen for years. You can tell they've had lymphatic problems for years because you see the orange around the pupil. That orange is sulfa drug. So they obviously went to allopathic modalities for help, which they got it through the use of antibiotics. Or they got it when they were in their mother. Been a lot of years because this looks a little orange coming out toward these lymph nodes, meaning that the body's trying to pull this out of itself. But this thick white ring around the bow collarate. This is a collar around the pupil, and this is the GI tract within this. See how small this GI tract is? But there's definitely big-time malabsorption going on in this case. And see how dark the stomach is? So there's some stomach issues here. This is up in the cerebellum. So here's an equilibrium, dizzy center, lightheadedness, things like that here. A little ear here. Here's a right shoulder here. Coming up here, we have a knee that's not real happy. We have an upper femur not happy. A little groin weakness. Here's a big kidney weakness. And this is young 23-year-olds. And this is from Brazil. So they have better food, but look at what's happening here. And I get a lot of Brazilians up here with some real serious kidney and adrenal problems. And we had this one girl, it took me a while to get her adrenals going. It was that bad. So this shows, my friends, some kidney adrenals. Here's a little male or female area here, depending on the case. We're going into the hip here, which would be associated with the leg and knee. And then we're looking at the pancreas. Pancreas and gallbladder and liver all here need to be worked on. Real important, here's the liver. You see a little breakdown in the liver here, so really need to clean up the liver gallbladder area, get this kidney filtering, and that'll help fix this knee problem up. I look at the parathyroid, always see some congestion in that. But the lymph nodes are swollen. Just under this person's skin, they're backed up subcutaneously, which is that area under the skin. Now, when they detox, they could open up the skin and they could have skin problems, but they already have skin weakness. A lot of people don't realize the skin is an organ, a cellular organ.
Look how thick that ring is.
Yeah, real thick. Mm-hmm. Real weak skin. They're not sweating well or something. They could have been born with it. The left side, of course, we're here. There's a little genetic heart weakness going on here. Strengthen that up a little bit. Here's bronchial trunks here. We get up into the ear area, the left ear area, and then we're back in the cerebellum here again. Anytime you see these fibers, and we've showed this before, these fibers need to be nice and straight, and of course blue if you have blue eyes, and brown if you have brown. Any other deviation of color. Remember, different shades of brown is different levels of lymph toxicity. Different colors outside of blue, of course, is different levels of lymph toxicity in blue eyes. Same sort of thing here. Kidneys look a little better, but still going on kidneys here and adrenals. Big weakness for you there. Here's the groin here. Now, this could be a hernia coming here. This is a groin weakness. Here's a parathyroid right there. So even though this is left side, you see going to the right, you're still picking up and not utilizing calcium well. Now, another thing you see when you see parathyroid weakness, you definitely see these fibers starting to wave a little bit. Whenever you have parathyroid weakness, you know that that's the gland that controls calcium utilization. Therefore, your connective tissue that holds everything together starts to weaken, especially the more acidic you become and the more calcium that's drawn from connective tissue or bone. With a parathyroid weakness, you can't put it back, even getting well. So it is important to work on that. You see that parathyroid right there, a little nodule maybe in the thyroid or just a swelling there. Now going up the back here, we've got lower back and we've got mid to upper back here. So
real quick.
Yeah.
A lot of people tend to ask this question.
Okay.
They're on probiotics.
Yeah.
Explain in the long run what probiotics will do.
Well, probiotics is just trying to seed in bacteria because you want better digestion.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about digestion. Bacteria, it breaks, undigested matter down.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there is some action, but with the enzymes and all that, that's the number one process. Any of the byproducts are always broken down by bacteria. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people feel they need to add bacteria to make their digestive tract work better. And
the body's trying to produce.
Exactly. That's like treating a symptom, and it really doesn't work anyway. You really have to. Some people feel better. Mm-hmm. I remember when Dr. Jensen invited me out one time and he said, look, I've got some new digestive enzymes. These digestive enzymes, you pour a little on oatmeal and within less than a minute, that oatmeal is liquid. You go do that in your body and you're going to get gastric distress big time. Just not going to be the order of things that you'd want to go by. So you're not trying to treat a symptom. If you've got lymphatic problems in the guts, celiac, all these type of problems, you're going to go in and you're going to clean that out. You're going to rebuild the GI tract. You're going to get the sulfur out. You're going to get the lymph moving in the wall. This is all much more on point and factual. When you move to raw foods, you don't have to think about digestive enzymes. You don't have to think about reseeding the gut, because these are microbes. And what people don't realize is bacteria goes in and out at will. I mean, there's no keeping bacteria out of the human body, nor would you even want to.